Rin makes all the outlines very unstable. Rain, not Rin. As if they were fading away. The townscape turns into shapeless collection of various fuzzy tones of gray, instead of the distinct forms of buildings and cars. Those poor souls who are forced into the downpour try to make as much haste as they possibly can, pitying each other each for their shared misery. I turn the final corner, the 22nd corner, so to say, and immediately feel stupid for being amused by my own pun. The door beckons me with promises of warmth. The rainwater dripping from my umbrella makes interesting, almost artistic patterns on the floor. I am not wet, apart from my shoes that leave small puddles in my wake, completing the rainwater artwork. Domia's here too, chatting with Sai at the back of the gallery. Rin's nowhere to be seen, though. Maybe she's upstairs. There are no customers, though, which figures, considering the bucketloads of water dropping on the neck of everyone daring to brave enough the weather today. Welcome. Hello, sorry to interrupt.
Ah, good afternoon, Nikai. Came all the way here for a visit?
No. I think it was just an impulse. I was around the neighborhood shopping and decided to stop by. My reflexive reaction is a white lie, which surprises myself. Maybe I just don't want to say that I came specifically to see Rin, even though that must be obvious.
My, you chose a bad day for shopping. Would you like some tea to warm you up?
Thank you, but I'm fine, really. The weather could be better, though. Rain on the first day of vacation's a bit depressing.
Ah, well, sure, it got better.
Nomi offers his hearty laughter, bordering on abrasive. Rain doesn't get you down, teacher? Oops.
Well, I do prefer clear weather as well. I was actually leaving just now to meet someone. I prefer not getting my jacket soaked. It's very expensive.
Is that why you wear it every day? Like, do you wash it even?
But of course, I'm in a good mood. What did you think of the exhibition? It was wonderful, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very fancy. My unenthusiastic answer only spurs him to carry on, walking around the gallery while blabbering about the opening. He talks more and louder when he's moving. It's something I noticed at the club meetings, too.
We got to talk with many good people, make valuable contacts. One of Tezuka's paintings even got sold to a collector from Osaka.
I follow his eyes to an empty space on the wall. I can't remember which painting was hanging on that spot. Was that the one where the eye was looking at us, but there was like the people kissing? I think. Well, it's gone now. It was lucky that she was alright despite that dizzy spell. Oh, that was him. Sorry.
She got a little quiet, though, so I told her to rest as well. Then again, she's always been pretty shy.
Shy. Whatever, I was just nodding along with the teacher.
The reception was very positive in general. I might be able to get one of my friends to write a little article on a magazine to...
Shinichi, you're meeting. You're talking Mr. Takahashi's wait. What? You're making Mr. Takahashi wait. Sai's remark makes him stop in his tracks and check his watch. Nomiya frowns in displeasure for the interruption to his trade.
All right. Yes, well, I'll be off then. We'll meet in September, Nikai.
Bye. Wow, teacher doesn't hold back when it comes to Rin's budding artist career. I guess it takes a lot to succeed. I suppose his job would be easier if Rin was more cooperative. She's too indecisive, even though she's doing just fine, like that dizzy spell from the night before. That was a panic attack. She got freaked out or something. I didn't do anything to help her. I sigh. It feels like the gap between me and Rin is only widening. She's going to become something so great while I'm still feeling I'm bogged down, despite promising myself to try to make something of my life. On top of that, we had that fight, and the longer we keep not talking, the harder the wounds become to heal. That even is what we want. I never found out what Rin felt. I'm not sure what I feel myself. I wish I could understand her, but Rin is not very open for interpretation. Not that she's hiding anything. It just seems to defy my attempts at making sense of what she's talking about on any given day. Something on your mind? I realize I've been spacing out in the middle of the gallery for who knows how long. Nothing special. I pretend to study the closest paintings to distract her. I've seen it before. Now the all too familiar strokes of color twisting and melting into each other, seeming randomly still manage to feel like there's something happening behind the scenes, so to speak. Rin's style is so much like her, abstract, incomprehensible, and colorful, mysterious. I wonder if to understand an artist, one must understand art. I may have a question. Oh? She looks up from the magazine she was idly leafing through, seeming delighted at my display of an unspecified interest. How do you interpret art? What do you mean? Her eyebrows rise into questioning arcs, as if the question was too complicated to even begin to answer without clarification. Sorry if I'm asking something stupid. I don't think I really understand art like the pros do.
Oh, there's no trick to it.
Sai waves my question away with a simple but efficient flick of her wrist. You look at a painting, and then you say, what does this make me feel? That's step one. Step two, what did the artist feel when making this? Maybe. That's like step two. You don't need to go past step one. What the paint makes you feel, literally that's all you need. Okay? 100%. You just need that. But if you want to understand it, then you're like, what was the painter or whatever, the artist thinking when they made it? What do they want? And that's it. That's how you interpret more abstract art. Because you're never going to understand what the painter feels unless they specifically talk about what they were feeling. Whatever. Everyone interprets art as they will, and the interpretation is much of an eye as the beholder as the intentions of the creator. That's what I just said. Pros have their own way, because there's this thing called art theory. Well, yeah, I suppose you could go like into the logistics of like, oh, the color, what, yeah, they picked form colors because it was supposed to be a happy thing. I'm an artist. I literally do these things. Whatever. There are patterns in art, just like in everything, and we assume that it's possible to draw some conclusions from observing those patterns. Her voice is like a teacher's, lecturing and adding emphasis on random words to keep the listeners on their toes. In the end, I suppose it's pretty meaningless. She moves to the musing, seemingly to herself, muttering loud enough for me to clearly hear. A good piece of art will make you feel something, and that's all there is to it. Feelings change, and they affect the art that we create when the art we see. But I'll tell you a story. Do you have to? That last one was depressing. It's important. Listen. About 100 years ago, a little-known painter got news that his friend, a man called Kazajmis, has committed suicide. This happened when he was away. He didn't see his friend for a while. So obviously, he must have felt more conflicted than you normally would after hearing such a thing. But 4 years after that, our main character did nothing but monochromatic paintings because he felt so deeply affected by the news. Whatever he did, he always kept returning to that same color till he let him out of his grasp. Its grasp. She takes a little pause to check whether I'm still following. I am, to an extent, so I give her the prompt that the storyteller seems to live for. So, it's hard to continue from that, and I can't seem to come up with the questions she wants me to come up with. Like a half-baked Socrates, she thought she had laid out all the tools for revelation in front of me. Don't you see the point yet? Only her student proved to be too dense to get it. She looks discontent at my slowness. Picasso's Blue Period is one of the most lauded in the history of art. But who knows what he felt when he worked on those masterpieces? Sadness, longing, regret? Nobody can tell. If you now see one from his Blue Period paintings, you'd probably interpret it as differently from before you knew about Picasso's friend Kazajmis. Experiencing art is always personal, only interactive by chance or circumstances. There are a million explanations for any given pieces of art, but it might be one that none of them are what the creator intended. No man is an island, you know? I nod without understanding what the last remark meant. What she had said made sense otherwise, except for one thing. If art is communication, like Rin said, but everyone is talking like their own secret language about, like Sai said, what can anyone ever hope to communicate? Emotions. It's so futile and pointless. Art is really not a thing for me. Sai returns to her art magazine, and I make the round of the gallery, trying to see what Rin can see in her own paintings. A soothing mood takes hold of the gallery, surrounded by the rainstorm, the big windows making the transparent isolation feel more comfortable. Tinkle of the bell disrupts the tranquil mood. Rin pushes the door open with her shoulder and steps in. I'd almost forgotten that she was the reason why I came to the gallery in the first place. I think I'm ready. She pauses mid-sentence, noticing my presence. The needle-dropping silence lasts for exactly 1.5 seconds. Not enough for either me or Sai to open our mouths, but enough for Rin to react. I'm going for a walk. Heading back outside with a reckless pace uncharacteristic of Rin herself, Rin seems to forget that it's still raining. Without giving it any real thought, I grab my umbrella and hurry after her. I catch Rin around the corner, under the umbrella, and lift above the two of us while still having to almost run to keep up with her. She doesn't protest, me running after her, nor giving her shelter against the rain. Eventually, slowing the pace down, I can match it, with an immediate danger of overexerting myself. I relax from the rush, assessing the situation. The last time I held my umbrella to guard both of us against the rain, I didn't think too much about it. But now all the things that happened since then are gathering in a freezing cold ball around my stomach. Being close to her makes me uncomfortable, and I feel myself fluttering slightly. It's hard to get words out of my mouth, as it feels suddenly very, very dry. Still, it's not like I can back off. Why do you keep running away? I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. It hurts every time I do. Sometimes it can't be helped. I don't want to hurt. Fine. We don't have to talk. What should we do? Let's just keep walking. Just walking? Just walking. Okay. Damn. Our footsteps go splish splash. This is the most depressing shit. We don't have to talk. I know, it hurts every time we speak. Our footsteps go splish splash in the shadow puddles forming on the streets. Man, that was good. I like that. As we walk through the rainfall. Rin, now walking beside me in her unhurried and relaxed manner, doesn't seem to be even a bit bothered by the fact that she is getting wet, even though she needn't to. She is partially out of the protective shelter of my umbrella, despite it being more than big enough for the two of us. It's as if she doesn't notice the rain drenching her shirt. Rin's demeanor always evokes mental images of meditative calm, even when she might be in inner turmoil. But I don't think of it as meditation. It is just getting soaked in the rain. I wish I could be more calm, too. Become too involved with Rin and to retain my usual aloofness. Feels like I have become one of those people who fool themselves into thinking they're objective, only to find out that they are the worst kind of liars. Which is funny, because I think that that's what she said today, the fireworks, too. About being a pessimist is just like an excuse to something. I don't remember the words. Illusions to fool ourselves. What better way to make one feel like a good person? Might be better to lose that illusion. I'll be going back home for some time, so I thought I'd come see you before that. Could have thought of a better conversation opener, but Rin actively refusing to talk makes it hard. That's good. Might have thought you'd been kidnapped otherwise. You can't keep running away from everything. Not even from me trying to talk seriously. I'm always serious. Oh, also, I seem to be running very slowly right now. Maybe I should take lessons from Emmy. That'd be funny. It's futile. Like talking to a brick wall that randomly spouts sarcastic nonsense back at you. Think of your exhibition opening. What if you'd run away? Then we'd be fucking right now. Sorry. Rin doesn't answer that. She keeps walking, or slowly escaping me into her silence. Rin has a knack for being alone in company, I've noticed. We head down the street, then turn left, then turn 3 times, then left again. It's like that night from some time ago. We just keep choosing directions randomly because it doesn't matter where we're going. All that matters is walking and the sound of raindrops drumming against the umbrella. Water flows down from the roofs of the buildings and into the storm drains in wide rivers. Even though I try to step over them, my feet are getting wet through my shoes. We keep walking in silence that just begs to be broken again. I'm sure I'm the only one feeling like this, though. This art's so pretty. It's depressing, but it's pretty. Why did you have the exhibition? Rin just shrugs sullenly, then looks in the other direction, and I give up on this point. It's pointless. What does she want to accomplish? What had she said the night of the opening that made me feel like there was something special she wanted? It felt to me that Rin hoped for something unattainable. She set the bar high, and inside her own head, she failed to no matter how many people liked her works. It's understandable to lack realism. Most people do. Even if not quite on the extreme level Rin takes it to. But it's not a reason to live in your private world that accepts no visitors. You can't bend the world to fit your twisted, megalomaniac cosmology where everything works just like you want. That's just what frustrates me the most about Rin. My throat is dying so fast. She wants to hold the world to live by her. She wants the world to live by her rules, disregarding everything that conflicts with those as irrelevant or unnecessary. I can't believe how anyone in Yamaku could not have the bare minimum perception to understand that the world can sometimes be very unfair. I'm sure she's not the only one who wishes some things were different, but we can at least grasp the facts that they are. I take a sideways glance at Rin, who's looking up at our dome-shaped cover. It is a poor replacement for the real sky and its monochrome bleakness. but the rain keeps falling. Just like the clouds today, Rin doesn't really give the feeling of wanting to be watched. She sulks in unison with the sky she loves so. I shouldn't have come. The presence only reminds me of how angry I got because of those exact same reasons. How those reasons probably can't ever change. Even though I want to say I'm sorry, even though I don't want us to break apart, I can't bring myself to say either of these things. We keep measuring the rain-drenched streets, one step at a time. Often, when you walk with someone else, your steps become synchronized as if though some weird subconscious pact. I notice that ours never do. Time passes, and the strikes against the drum skin of my umbrella fade as the clouds above slowly disperse to reveal a cerulean blue. Eventually, the rain yields enough for me to close the umbrella, shaking the excess water off before I do. While I wrestle with the mechanism, Rin stops so abruptly that I take 5 steps before realizing that she's not with me anymore. Stupid umbrella seems to be jammed. All of this art's so pretty, the colors. When I turn around, I find her staring at me with an impassive face. I wanted someone to say, I understand how you feel. Wouldn't that be great? Is that an answer to a question from before? I'm not so sure. Yeah, but why is it so important? Because otherwise, I don't know if I can bear this. I was still in the middle of folding my umbrella, so I answered something to get the conversation going, but what she says now freezes my blood. If someone says a joke and laughs, you laugh with them, right? Because a joy doubled is joy tripled, right? If someone is hurt and sad, you comfort and hug them, right? Because that way... She pauses, her mouth still halfway open, then remembers to close it. A gloom sets on her face and simultaneously on my heart. I don't know why the right words never come out. I don't know why I can laugh only when I make myself. I don't know why everything stays only inside me, even when it feels like I'm going to burst. Her flat, expressionless face does not waver even when she says that. Her usual steady voice becomes only slightly quieter than normal. But who? Who would ever want to feel like that? Rin looks at me, and I imagine the sadness reflecting from her eyes, whether it really is there or not. I don't. I don't want to feel like that. We stay inside for a little. Stay silent, what? We stay silent for a little while after that. Rin, because she said all she has to say at once. I have, because I have no clue how to process what she said. I don't understand what Rin is saying. Or I do, but I don't want to. For the first time, both of these things happen. It has to be simultaneously. The irony is not lost on me. I think everyone wants to be understood. That's universal. But that is impossible, not only for me, but for anyone. So I said it, too. You affect other people and are affected by them, but in the end, you see everything the only way you do. All people are alone. We just use each other to alleviate that loneliness. I wonder why I put it like that. Just felt like what Sai told me rang true, as if I had always thought that without knowing it. Feels like she articulated my thoughts in clear, simple words, that stupid story about Picasso. Rin droops her head like a withering flower, letting her bangs fall in front of her eyes so that I can't see them. Why do you say that when you made me... What? Why do you say that when you made me feel otherwise? It's unfair. The shaky voice that says those words does not belong to Rin. I really thought you could be different. That I wouldn't have to be alone. It's a bitter voice of disappointment, spoken through clenched teeth and a quivering chest. I'm sorry. If you are, then why did you say something unfair like that? Her demanding tone invokes no particular feeling in me, apart from the sadness that has been there since yesterday evening. She doesn't intimidate me at all. Not anymore. Rin is not a prodigy. Whatever, that prodigal. Rin is not an art genius prodigy, nor an unpredictable idiot savant who could tear the logic lobe of my brain into shreds whenever she opened her mouth. She's just a girl that I thought I loved. A loved one who wanted to be my friend. A friend who I let down. I say that because saying otherwise would feel like lying. Why? Simple questions are the hardest ones. I have to close my eyes so I can focus my thoughts and have to answer her. I'm no artist. I can never be on the same level with you. There's a world only you can see. To be part of it, I would have to become you. That's something I can't do, no matter how much you wish me to. Rin takes in my explanation without batting an eyelash. I'm not a real artist, either. I just paint because it makes me feel like I can really feel something. She holds her breath for a while before releasing it in a long, sigh-like flow. That's why I'll do it. I have decided I'll do it, even if Hisao says that. That's not what I'll do. Then that's what I'll do. Do what? Rin starting a little shows that she has regressed into talking to herself again, but I'm glad I can snap her back even now. Teacher and Sai have talked with someone who's a very important person. I got a scholarship for a big art school in Tokyo. He said I could transfer there and start after the summer is over if I wanted to. I don't really get why. Hold on, why didn't you tell? I just did. You're the first one I told because I decided it just now. She keeps her cool, looking only mildly surprised at my shocked interjection. It's ridiculous how easily she can say something so life-changing. I can't believe it. After what happened in February, I had enough change for this year. Even if things are going to go badly right now, I don't want everything to change. What about Yamaku? Don't you want to graduate with everyone? My plea invokes no emotion. Everyone who? Emmy, me, everyone. You know, the only two people you talk to. I feel my pulse rising unnervingly, my breathing becoming fast and shallow. I don't want this to happen. Their life is not mine. You said that everyone is alone. I didn't mean it like that. You said that you have to seize the day and start living your life. I have to live my life too. Rin is twisting my words to justify running away again. It makes me angry. Her ease, finality, and seriousness in announcing this is unacceptable. As if changing your life is something that you can do in a moment's whim. No. How can you say that? Why don't you even try to belong? The desperate accusation has no effect. It feels like I'm once again out of weapons. That I can't reach through to her no matter what I try. Rin is so frustratingly absolute in her own judgment that it might make me hate her if I didn't love her, even though I don't know which way I'm feeling anymore. Maybe I am that kind of person. The kind that belongs only to herself. I won't accept that. Her nonchalant eyes do not seem to care whether I accept her decision or not. The pause lets me cool down, to find my sensibilities. While I do, the parting rain clouds reveal a setting sun that still has time to shine, its last few warming rays before calling it a day. A mosaic of light and shadow spreads on the walls of the buildings and on the street, the fence circling the park on the other side of the street. Rin's shadow is long enough to reach my feet. It's like one of those Western movies where the two cowboys staring each other down, ready to sling their guns at one another. The one loses his nerve will eat lead. I realize I would have the disadvantage because the sun is behind Rin, stinging my eyes. Do you hate me? She draws first, and I have no counter. I don't know. Did I lose? Even if I did, what would it matter? I scramble for words that could salvage this. I find none. You are my friend. I promised you that. I'm not the kind of guy who forgets about promises. I think that is the most important thing. We could try to... Don't say it. Oh. Predicting what I was going to say, Rin throws herself into my arms, pressing her body against mine. I feel her rising to her tiptoes, match my height, and snuggle closer. The scent of her hair is that of the rain and paint thinner. Her body feels as cold as always, her breathing against my neck, as hot as always. It's funny how all those feel familiar even though Rin, as a whole, does not. Are you sure you can't hate me? Rin whispers into my ear so close that I feel the movements of her lips against my earlobe. It's teasing, taunting. If this was some other kind of situation, I'm sure it would tickle tantalizingly. I would giggle even though I'm a guy. It's not fine. Guys giggle all the time. It'd be easier if you did. I don't know, it's pretty hard when you're hugging me like that. Wonder if it's because my sullen voice, but she takes a step back, looking wistfully at her short arms. I wish he hadn't done that. I can't hug anyone, Hisao. I'm a bad person like that. That's why I have to go. She disarms me. Don't say that. She disarms me completely with 3 simple sentences, rendering me unable to argue anymore. And since I can't, Rin is free to continue as she wills, shifting her weight from one foot to the other before she does. I will learn to hug people in my own way. I'm sure I'll become a real artist. But if I do, I might not be able to be me anymore. The hint of a smile on her lips is a betrayal, a false sign of self-confidence in a future that even Rin can't foresee. I'd want to interpret it as a sign of hope, but I know better. Rin just keeps smiling, that awkward forced smile of hers. That's why people forget about me. And I'll forget about you, too. I'm sure that... She chokes in the middle of saying something I could never come to hear. I don't think I'd wanted to hear it anyway. This is not fair. Rin is not joking. Rin is always serious. But I can't accept it. Forget about you. How could I ever? That's what I'd like to say. But I don't know how I would continue. I can't come up with anything good to say. So I have to challenge her. How can you say such a thing? Rin raises her eyes to meet mine. They are serious, deep, a perfect image of the uncharted territory that I always thought they were. Even now, I can't read her emotions from those unblinking jade irises that could never reflect what they saw. It's easy. After all, I am good at forgetting things. Her unfairness is choking my throat. I've managed to utter the question burning my mind. So is this it? Is this goodbye? Rin kept looking at me gently, without answering my question. From her eyes, I could see that Rin didn't even need to say anything. There were no more words for us. She turned around and walked off, without looking back. All around me, the world kept changing, little by little, but I was left standing there. The sun dropped below the horizon, casting long and thin shadows across the street. In the waning light, Rin's distancing back seemed to be like from a faraway dream. The gap between us grew slowly. The ripples and the puddles she stepped on expanded until they met the limits of their tiny existence and disappeared without a trace. Her words stayed frozen deep inside my heart. Fuck. Crying, bro. That was so sad. I want to cry so bad. Here, you can see it. You can see it on the camera. Just barely. That was so sad. Well, that was Katawa Shoujo. That was Rin's neutral ending, although that one seemed incredibly sad. And the bad ending didn't seem too bad. Yeah, that took a lot longer than I thought, so we can't get to Shizune this week, but thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, sitting through all this, and I hope that you're still here after the next series and, you know, Shizune's playthrough and all that other stuff I've decided to be doing. I love you guys. See you later.